Hello and good morning. This is Sanje Ratnavale. I'm the president of the OESIS Group. Today we're joined by Rob Abel, who's president of IMS Global. Welcome, Rob.
Nice to be here, Sanjay.
Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to be discussing a lot today around school transcripts, but before we get started, because we have a lot of people on today, let me just tell you a little bit about OESIS and also about IMS Global. Rob's going to go into that in more detail. OESIS is a network of schools, primarily independent schools, focusing on changing the learning models of schools. IMS Global is a consortium of educational institutions, of vendors, of associations, and many more, looking to provide standards for the interchange of communication and tools between educational institutions. So with that, the purpose of today's webinar is really to help you design your own school transcripts that reflect much more than has been provided in the past. Neither IMS nor OESIS is going to be producing any kind of product here. We're just going to help you to go down that path of designing a transcript. We're not a vendor of any kind. In fact, what we're trying to put together here is really a task force or an interest group that can grease the path towards that process. I met Rob about 5 years ago because I was fascinated by what he was doing with the LTI tools. I think it was kind of version 1.1 at the time, and he asked me to present at IMS Global. There wasn't an independent school in sight, hardly an independent school vendor in sight at the time, so things have changed since then. And Rob has presented at OESIS too. Really appreciate his participation. We've worked together today to build a webinar with a number of slides together that takes you down this process. So Rob, with that, I'm going to get started. Could you just turn to the first slide? I'm just going to provide a little bit of an overview for you on how this whole context could be looked at. And here's a visual model of a comprehensive learner record. And I built this because I wanted to give you a sense of where the assessments are taking place. On the right-hand side is essentially what you have today. And I call this your course verticality, because this is a set of sequences, standards, and content that are, generally speaking, built around content areas such as math and English, languages, and others. Those standards can be both skills and content, and they can be projects, they can be experiences, but they tend to be on a particular continuum. That continuum is generally age-related or grade level related, and it can include grades, and it can also include mastery. So many of the systems, the learning management systems that exist today have moved from just a kind of grade level type focus, and many of them are implementing mastery systems within that course verticality. If you turn to the left-hand side, I put here what I call the co-curricular verticality. And that is essentially those things that you're doing for the most part, which aren't formally assessed. And that could encompass everything from advisories to field trips, clubs, debates, even mini courses. A lot of schools are starting mini courses these days between semesters. They don't tend to be assessed in the same way that the course verticality is assessed. They can be assessed on a time-based or a credit-based and time-based scenario. And what the comprehensive learning record is trying to do